So for these biscuits, you need like 1.25 pounds of flour, 1/4 pound of shortening, 1.5 teaspoons of cream of tartar, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. And I put a little sugar in mine, so maybe about 1 tablespoon of sugar. You can change out the shortening and put butter instead. That works fine, or half and half. So if you want the buttery flavor. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to bring in some more butter flavor. But first, you want to coat the flour with the shortening, or coat the shortening with the flour, whichever. Now this is a wetter dough, so you don't want to overwork it because it just gets messier and messier. But you add a little flour here and there just to, so that it comes together properly. But what we are going to do once we mix this is add 2 cups of buttermilk to it. So as you can see, I've got chunks of shortening coated with the flour, and that's what I want. Okay. Next is the buttermilk. Okay. So we have 2 cups of buttermilk. It is real buttermilk, not the fat-free stuff or skim stuff. And you're going to add it all together. And remember, I said it's going to be wet, so I mix it with a spoon. And you just want to fold it in, because you're not trying to disturb too much of those shortening flakes that were coated in flour. So that's fairly well mixed, and we'll do the rest on the counter. So I've put a good amount of flour on my surface. Now we're going to dump the mix that we just stirred up. And you want to get as much out of the bat as you can, as the bowl as you can. Okay. Everything. I'm going to use an extra flour so that I can handle it. But you're just going to want to press it out. Use your scraper to shape it. It's a fluffy dough, really light, and you want to keep it that way. You don't want to make them dense. No hockey pucks in this kitchen, okay? And what I'm going to do, what I mentioned earlier, is how to get it to a buttery flavor. I take butter and I just break pieces. Spread it out. Okay. That's just one. And this is how you get your layers, more layers too, because the shortening is going to add the layers. But this is going to get us there. So we continue to press out and shape. And more butter. I say you use about 2 tablespoons of butter, but I mean, this is up to you. How buttery do you want it? So I'm going to do this about 3 to 4 times so that I can make sure that I've got chunks and chips of butter throughout the biscuits. This is going to allow for steam to develop, which then gets you a flaky biscuit. Add a little more flour. The flour is simply so that I can handle it better and it doesn't stick more on the counter. Let me pull this back so you can get that in the frame. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay. See, it's still getting a little wet. So now that we have it shaped and our buttery layers are in there, and it's gonna rise a little bit, but they're not gonna be too thick. You can do a smaller biscuit and do rounds. It's okay if they get stuck. See, look at that. That's gonna be a nice one. All right, so we've got a few shapes and sizes, but you can sprinkle sugar on them because, you know, sometimes you want a sweeter biscuit. Okay, so the biscuits are out of the oven. One of the things you can do, my mom taught me this back in the day, take some butter and melt it on top to just give it a even more butter. I'm doing it just because I have it. That was our extra dough. Yeah, so they're ready. I like to serve mine with a soft scrambled egg and some grits and bacon. You can have this for dessert, strawberry shortcake. But yeah, this is quick buttermilk biscuits, super easy recipe. You can change it up, change the flavors. If you have any questions, let me know at Foodie-Engineer on all social media platforms and Foodieengineer.com. Enjoy and let me know how you do. I wanted to share what I use to make my biscuits shapes. I bought this and you know, you got every size. You can use this for plating. You can use it for biscuits. I have the square version too, but it comes in handy and that's what I used. I used one of these to make the biscuits.